We're going to talk about the latest report on inflation, how those Mississippi River levels are already impacting commodity prices, and much more on today's episode of the Arkansas AgCast, which starts right now.
You're listening to the Arkansas AgCast, where we discuss the latest news, trends, and issues impacting Arkansas farmers and ranchers. Our show is brought to you by the Arkansas Farm Bureau Federation and hosted by Jason Brown and John Nickman.
I've been noticing.
What have you been noticing?
I need some earbuds or something. These headphones kind of don't make my hair look too great. No, it's just the hair.
I need a haircut.
I can tell. I can see that.
You look that bad, huh?
No. It's just a little long for you.
Yeah,
that's all I'll say.
I hadn't got around to it. I'm a bit lazy.
Well, we've established on the show before, you are not a fan of making the time for it.
No.
You like the experience. You just don't like
I don't like the expense, and I don't like the time it takes.
The expense, that's right. I should say that.
Yeah, but it is what it is. Men's haircuts have gotten out of control.
Yeah, it's not cheap.
I was talking to somebody about it over the weekend. I think I've talked about it here before. $11 is, I think, maybe $9 is, I think, the cheapest I remember as a kid getting my haircut. And now it's nowhere near that.
I think, of course, I'm a little older. We've established this, but I think $6 or $7 is probably what I recall. And, buddy, if I could get a $6 haircut, I'd go every week.
Yeah.
I'd stay freshened up.
And it wouldn't take an hour to do.
No, those guys were in and out.
Yeah, that old place in Stuttgart that had one haircut.
My dad's barbershop, there were two in Forest City, and we always went to one, and I don't know what got him going to the one. They were across the street, that one. But when I was a kid and I found out they had a ping pong table in that one. So you could play ping pong on Saturday mornings while you're waiting to get your haircut. And, man, once I found that out, I wanted to go there with him all the time, you know. Now those days are over. You might get a bottle of water or,
Maybe.
But anyhow, but you're going to pay
too much.
Well,
you've got yours figured out though.
For the record, I'll give you guys a haircut for $6 if you want.
I bet you will.
I'm cheap, but not that cheap.
Just come upstairs when we're done.
It's risky.
Yeah. You're just
more risk than I like to have in my life.
No doubt. We ought to be able to write our haircuts off since we're on video every week.
That would help quite a bit.
Let's get on that. No, really. Everybody having a good week so far?
Yeah.
Looks like we might get a little bit more rain today. I don't know. I know it's cloudy.
I watered the yard yesterday.
I turned mine off whatever day, Tuesday, when it was supposed to rain. We didn't get anything at the house, so I'm back on.
I think we got some rain.
Well, no, my rain gauge was empty, I'll say
but
that.
It's so
it rained out here, I
Yeah.
should say. It rained out here for a while, but not. That's the second week in a row that's rained at the office, but not at my house. You live not too far from me.
Yeah, we got a little bit of rain, but it's been very spotty.
Yeah, so, well, I think we've given up on the plants for the year.
I'm about giving up on my yard.
I'm
lazy. I'm tired of it.
Yeah. Well,
I don't have one of those fancy sprinkler systems like Jason has here. I actually have to pick up my water hose and drag it around the yard.
Move it around?
Yeah.
You need one of those tractors that follows
that's what I need. Yeah.
Well, I tell you, it looks like fall at my house. I mean, I could blow leaves every day now. And I know that's not a good thing. It's because it's so dry.
Yeah.
And I've seen a couple meteorologists talk about, hey, we're really starting to get in that critical point on if we're going to have a pretty fall with the trees. Because the trees need the water for the leaves to change color, number one. But if the leaves are even going to stay on the trees.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Something not related to weather, believe it or not.
Okay.
You guys know that a barbecue place that we fancy opened up recently here in Little Rock.
Have you heard anything about it?
We went Tuesday night.
Oh, yeah.
Waited as long as I could. And we went Tuesday night and 5 stars.
How was the wait?
Well,
not waiting for it to go there, but while you were
went
there
at
waiting on your food.
the discount hour probably. I think we got there at like 5:15. But we didn't wait, and by 6 there was probably 25, 30 people in line.
Is it as big in there as it looks?
It's huge in there. It's huge. There's tables everywhere. And I should tell you, it is, for the most part, what do they call that? Like German pub style seating, or pub hall type seating, like one of the restaurants downtown, Fassler. It's the big tables, and you sort of
community seating.
You go. Lost 40s the same way.
Yeah.
There are a few like traditional size picnic tables, and they're nicer picnic tables, but like synthetic wood. But anyway, the food was fantastic.
What'd you get?
Brian knows my order normally,
That's cute.
which is brisket and turkey.
Mm-mm.
He was there when I converted to turkey, by the way.
Their turkey's good.
Yeah.
At least the one in Johnson is.
Yeah. But they were out of turkey, and he suggested chicken. I'm like, I'm gonna use this as an opportunity to do something different. So I went smash burger, which I did not know they had on the menu.
That's new.
Didn't know
Brisket,
either. That's a new one.
made with brisket meat. Meaning like blend in, you know. Man, top 5 burger in Little Rock.
No way.
Yeah, I'm serious.
I'm pretty particular.
I know what
about
I'm
my
doing
Little
for
Rock
dinner
burgers.
now.
I'm telling you. I mean, seriously. And then my buddy got chicken. They said, well, we're out of turkey. How about chicken? And I had a little bite of the chicken. It's up there with the turkey. I would not turn my nose up at it.
Have you had the ribs?
I've never had their
The
ribs.
ribs are really good.
Matthew loves their ribs.
Yeah, they're really
Matthew's a rib connoisseur.
Yeah.
So
He's a big fan of their ribs. But the brisket, I mean, I said this, I think I posted something about this on Facebook and said this, but, the concern, especially with Matthew, we've heard him talk about it, is that expansion, what happens to quality when folks start, especially when you're that far from home base.
Yeah.
And I saw no issues with the quality. I mean, it seems to me just as good as what you can get in Johnson or Bentonville or
Good.
Rogers. So anyhow, there you go. There's your tip for the week. Go down there to Riverdale. It's hiding right behind a couple of other places, but you can't miss it. I mean, they call it the barbecue.
If you remember
hut,
where the old Dixie Cafe was, it's back behind that.
Yeah.
behind the town pump.
Behind the
town pump. That's where it is.
They've got a good burger.
They do.
Yeah, I haven't had their burger in a long time. I haven't been in that place.
They got good wings too.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
They've got some sauce. What do they call that? Something bird. It's Parmesan. It's like buffalo sauce with Parmesan and garlic in it.
Yeah.
At Town Pump.
Yep. At the Town Pump.
Huh. We need to take a Friday and go.
We should.
I was gonna suggest a field trip just for anybody who wanted to go on the PR team for Friday, but Matthew's out on a video shoot, and that wouldn't be fair at all to go down there without Matthew. So we'll have to
he'd
do
be a
that
little upset
different
with
day. Yeah. Anyhow, long story short, go get you some good barbecue, Little Rock.
I'll be here this weekend. Maybe that's what I'll do.
Yeah, it's a good TVs. He's got a massive screen for games and stuff like that.
It's still walk in and order. Just
Yep. You walk right up. The menu's written on butcher paper. Shoot, what was I gonna say? It closed on Sunday and Monday, so keep that in mind if you go this weekend.
All right.
It's a good place to watch some games.
I would think so.
Yeah,
I would think so.
We need more of those.
I would think so. And it's probably fairly close to you.
Yeah, it'd take me 10 minutes to get down there. Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe a little longer.
So anyway, you're really close.
Very.
You could ride a bike over there.
Yeah. Hit it with a
paddle a
rock.
boat across the river.
Yeah. Now we have left this nameless on purpose because no free ads. But
True.
if you've listened to the show, you know.
You are right.
Yeah.
I am right about that,
Unless
aren't I?
they want to get into some sponsorship.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, we'd be happy to take that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we've got a lot to cover. As a matter of fact, you and I are going to have to trade off a little bit on one of these. But a few things before we get into the news, and that is we have launched a weekly futures update email, and this is coming out weekly. This is a place to get concise and easy to understand summaries of the latest ag trends and insights. You can track market data, key indicators, historical trends, and other valuable information to optimize your decision making and to really hopefully see some success in the market.
Yeah.
The goal here is to with this new weekly futures update is to equip you guys with the knowledge that you need to navigate the dynamic world of those crop markets. Right?
Absolutely.
We all know how complex that can be. If you're interested, if this sounds like something you want to do, you can text ARFB Future, all one word, to 52886. Again, that's ARFB Future to 52886. We'll try and work that into the show notes so you can see that there.
Yeah. And
but yeah,
that's every week, every Friday. That'll
every
get
Friday
to about
afternoon,
3:30.
right? Yeah,
I think it goes out.
yeah.
So, like you said, it's all up to date weekly.
Something coming out of
Consistent.
your team, right?
Yeah, that's Tyler
another-
Oxner putting all that together, and I think he's doing a really good job at it. Or I know he is.
Well, I like that Tyler Oxner.
Yeah, he does a lot.
He's a good guy. He stays busy. We got to get him down here to talk about that latest Ag Insider too.
Yeah.
So there's that. Anything on your front?
I had something. The Arkansas Soybean Association has a grant scholarship opportunities available. They just sent out in their newsletter. I talked to Dawn about it this morning, and she gave me the go-ahead to advertise it here for them. She was pretty excited.
I bet.
So the Walton Family Foundation has given a substantial grant to the Arkansas Soybean Association for cover crops. I think they have enough for 10 growers, maybe 11. For funding. They have a survey you'll need to fill out to apply for it. They're literally going to pay you to plant a cover crop.
Yeah. Holy cow. Yeah.
So if you want more information on that, you can go to their website at arkansassoybean.com. Also, they're offering a $500 scholarship for juniors and seniors, college-level juniors and seniors that are in a ag-related field or major.
Yeah.
So it is an unrestricted scholarship, so they can spend it on whatever they want, and will be offered in both semesters, fall and spring.
Okay.
And also, you can find more information on that at arkansassoybean.com.
Okay. Those types of undefined scholarships or funds like that often come in handy with things like books.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like, man, how much money did we spend on books in college that you only use for a semester and then you got $1 back for?
Exactly.
You know?
Oh, my goodness. Yeah. Bringing back some core memories there.
I actually kept some. That's how cheap I am. I kept a few because I was like, these books are worth more than that.
Yeah. Then eventually, I think rental textbooks came up to be a thing. Yeah, but they weren't much cheaper.
I remember ordering a book off Amazon one time, and I didn't read the description well enough, and it was loose leaf, supposed to go in a 3-ring binder, already holes punched, but it was without the binder. So I just got this big package of
paper,
500 copies of
Black
Ag
Market.
Economics. Yeah.
They had run the book through a copy
I did not
machine.
use that
You're
book
right.
because I was just so frustrated.
Yeah. That's pretty funny. Well, I think that covers us. I don't know that there's anything else to talk about before we get into the news. So
you want to do some news?
Let's do it. Let's get into it.
Well, latest reports show that inflation is still on the rise.
Oh boy,
month to month, but in the last year, it's been slowly increasing. Does that make sense?
Yeah,
it's not as fast of a rate as it was.
Yeah,
so that's kind of the optimistic view.
An improvement. Yeah.
So the Consumer Price Index, or CPI, reported by the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, measures the change in prices paid by consumers for goods and services over a defined period of time. The CPI reflects spending patterns for each of two population groups. They are all urban consumers as well as urban wage earners and clerical workers.
Mm-hmm.
Collectively, this represents 90% of the total U.S. population. I state that last sentence just because when I first read it, I was like, well, what about the rural community?
Mm-hmm.
But that, there's a bigger population across the country in urban areas than there are rural. So going forward, as for the August report that just came out, CPI rose 0.6% in August from July after only increasing 0.2% in July. So we had a higher increase from July to August than we did June to July.
Yeah.
Over the last 12 months, the All Items Index, which includes all goods such as food items, shelter, energy, etc., increased 3.7%. And that's going to be our main number for inflation right now from July to June.
Yeah.
From the last 12 months. So this time last August, inflation has grown 3.7%.
Okay.
This is a little higher than the 3.6% experts had predicted, although it's fairly close. But this marks 2 months in a row that annual inflation has ticked up after 12 continuous months of decline. So from July last year to July this year, it was in a decline until this last August report came out.
Any idea what's causing that?
I'll get to that.
Okay. Sorry.
Yeah. Don't interrupt me. Core inflation, another measurement of inflation that excludes energy and food prices due to their focus or due to their volatility in those two sectors, rose 4.3%. So in the more steady, consistent prices, those actually rose 4.3%. This index has been the main focus for the Fed in its fight against inflation. And just to put kind of focus here on food, since it wasn't included in that one, food overall is up 4.3% from last year.
Okay.
Food away from home, so that's like eating at a restaurant or anything like that, is up 6.6% from last year. So if you've noticed going to your barbecue place, the price was higher than you remember a year ago.
Yeah.
It's here.
Yeah.
And then food at home. So if you're going shopping at the grocery store or anything like that, that food price has gone up 3% from last year.
Wow.
It is worthy to note that there is some optimism regarding the Fed's work. The CPI in July was 3.2% compared to July 2022. It was at 4.7%.
1.5% there.
So in that 12-month period, it did show a decline of over 1% until we hit August. So the notable increase, here you go, here's your part.
All right.
In the August report can be attributed to gas, fuel oil, and home and rent prices. Normally we see fuel prices decline in August. The end of the driving season is usually around this time.
Right.
But due to cuts in OPEC oil production, we saw an abnormal increase of 10.6% in gasoline prices and 9.1% increase in oil prices from July. So there's your big indicator or big reason why we moved up in August and removed from that decline. Also, the Bureau of Labor Statistics Shelter Index, which is like home cost, rent prices, et cetera, rose 7.3% from July 2022. So clearly homes are still in demand, but as you can see in my neighborhood and probably in everybody else's, the supply is really low.
Yeah, it is. And those interest rates are just at what, a month or two ago, they were at a 23-year high or something like that, over 2-decade high.
Yeah, so the latest Fed rate hike increased the national interest rate to a range of 5.25 to 5.50%, which is the highest it's been since 2001. Given that their target inflation rate is 2% in the next 12 months and that we aren't comparatively even close to that, relatively, I think we can go ahead and assume that we'll see more interest rate hikes in the coming year. And from what I was reading, if they want to get down to that 2%, they should continue to do so, even though it's going to hurt our pockets.
Going to hurt.
But there was kind of some chatter of that inflation kind of ticking down from August and may give them incentive to not increase interest hikes. But the article was saying that they should continue to do so if they want to get down to that 2% level.
Yeah, I think what they said last time, and I think I remember this correctly, so don't hold it against me. I believe what they said is that they could slow down the pressure, right? So not, it's basically been 0.25% every quarter for, the last little while. So, yeah, it'll be interesting to see. I think they've got a decision coming up in the coming weeks.
Takeaway from this is that if it wasn't for oil and gas prices, we would have seen we'd still see that continual decrease in inflation, but due to that OPEC issue, that wasn't the case. And
I think the U.S. has announced maybe that they're going to have an uptick in Canada in production, but we'll see. Well, that's a good one and important for everybody, not just farmers, but anybody who might watch or listen to the show. All right. Well, admittedly, we do have a row crop heavy show today, but there's just a lot going on. Weather's having an impact in some ways. That's good, meaning hurrying and speeding up harvest. But in some ways, that's not so good. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in this story. First off, thanks to our friend George Jared at Talk Business and Politics for putting this story together and sharing some ground data here in Arkansas. as we've been reporting and talking about here on this show, and shared also shared here in Georgia's story, we're seeing those Mississippi River levels so low at harvest for the second consecutive year. And frankly, the river level has really taken a sharp decline since mid-August.
Yeah.
George talked to Hunter Byram at the U of A, somebody we talk about quite a bit here on the show.
Famous.
Who noted the river level is already lower this year than it was this same time last year. And if you remember last year, then you know that's a concern. Byram said that barge freight rates are already going up, which, as we know, will have an impact on basis. So you can see why we're saying that this is much like last year.
Yeah.
Based on the story that Jared wrote, the barge freight at Memphis is up 40% on the 3-year average and already 10% higher than it was this time last year.
Not good.
Now we know corn and rice will likely be the first crops impacted by freight prices since they're the first out of the field.
Yep.
And as of this week's USDA report, we're over halfway done with corn harvest, a quarter done with rice, and now 5% of the soybean harvest is complete here in Arkansas. Byram notes that right now Osceola, West Memphis, and Helena September delivery basis is about 40 cents weaker than normal.
Wow.
So there you go. Stating the obvious here, but if river levels don't improve quickly, farmers will need to consider other options. Storage is probably on the top of that list, at least until we see a change in the river levels, which hopefully comes before wintertime. But, we'll just have to keep an eye on that. So, tough times.
Yeah, last year the big conversation was what is our storage capacity, especially for soybeans.
Yeah.
And I think every year it's increased. You're seeing more and more people having to like tarp them on the ground and
those ground bags
corn
are
as
just
well.
just not a good solution because
sketchy.
you get quality issues,
Yeah.
and then you get to what's the worst? Basis or or the quality issue.
Risk management decisions are going to be popping up if they hadn't already.
For sure. Absolutely. All right. Well, let's take a short break from the news. Have you considered running for public office? No, not you.
No.
Our listeners I'm talking to. So we've got some great news. Registration is now open for our How to Win Election seminar.
That's right. The seminar teaches how to evaluate the candidate in the electorate, build a campaign structure, raise money, and how to get voter attention, plus much more. Jason, fun fact.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. According to the American Farm Bureau, candidates who have been through the program have a 75% winning percentage.
How about that? Sounds successful.
Yeah.
This seminar is going to take place right here at our office on October 17th and 18th. Registration is already open. It only costs $225 to attend, and that includes the classes and all your meals during the program. To learn more or register, just go to arfb.com and search How to Win an Election today. But you better get signed up because registration closes October 13th. All right, let's get back to the news.
Let's do it.
And like I said, we've got a bit of a long one. Can you help me out here?
I think I can since I'm here.
All right, good deal. This is an overview of the latest WASDE report, and it's a marathon.
The WASDE.
I may run out of breath. You may have noticed we skipped over the crop quality and harvest progress update this week. That's because there's a new WASDE report out. But have no fear, we'll return our focus back on the state's crop quality and harvest progress next week. You can be sure we'll continue monitoring the impacts of weather and river levels like we just talked about for row crop producers in the state. And if you have a spare minute, snap a photo of your harvest view and share it on our Facebook page or using the hashtag ARHarvest23. Our team's building an album, and we would love to include your farm in on that action. All right, this month's 2023-2024 U.S. corn outlook is for slightly larger supplies and ending stocks. Corn production for 23-24 is forecast at 15.1 billion bushels, up 23 million from last month, as greater harvested area more than offsets a reduction in yield. The national average yield is forecast to at 173.8 bushels per acre, which is down almost 1.5 bushels. Total U.S. corn use is unchanged at 14.4 billion, with supply rising slightly and use unchanged. Ending stocks are up 19 million bushels. The season average corn price received by producers is unchanged at $4.90 per bushel. The average corn yield was revised down 1.3 bushels to 173.8. I think I mentioned that before. All right, Tag, you're it.
All right, you want to talk some cotton?
Let's do it.
So the 2023-24 U.S. cotton projections include higher beginning stocks, but lower production, exports, and ending stocks. Beginning stocks increased 550,000 bales, largely reflecting ending stocks data for the previous year from the Agricultural Marketing Service and the NASS Cotton System Consumption and Stocks Report.
Okay.
The 23-24 U.S. production forecast is 860,000 bales, lower this month, with the Southeast and Southwest leading the decline. Projected consumption is unchanged from August, but exports are down 200,000 bales and ending stocks are 100,000 bales lower. This season average price is upland cotton projected for 23-24 is 80 cents per pound, up 1 cent from the previous month. The outlook for rice in this report shows larger supplies, exports, domestic use, and ending stocks. The 23-24 all rice production forecast is raised by 17.3 million hundredweight to 220.9 million on higher harvested area in yields, as indicated by the NASS September crop production report. The average all rice yield is up 52 pounds per acre to a record 7,751 pounds. The 2023-24 global rice outlook this month is for reduced supplies, consumption, trade, and stocks. World supplies are reduced 4.4 million tons to 690.3 million, mostly on lower beginning stocks and production for India. U.S. soybean supply and use changes for 23-24 include lower beginning stocks, production, crush exports, and ending stocks. Soybean production is projected at 4.1 bushels, down 59 million, with higher harvested area offset by lower yield. Harvested area is raised 0.1 million acres from the August forecast. The soybean yield of 50.1 bushels per acre is down 0.8 bushels from last month, and soybean yield is down 0.8 bushels to 50.1 bushels per acre.
All right. Well, is that, I don't know, that may be the first time in a long time that we've, or ever, over 50 bushels an acre national yield.
That's, I mean, where we kind of hover around that, below it, you know.
Yeah. All right, I'll wrap up real quick. We do have some livestock and poultry news in here, and the forecast for 2023 red meat and poultry production is lowered from last month on lower beef, pork, and broiler forecasts. Beef production is reduced on a slower pace of marketings in the third quarter. Beef exports are lowered for 23 and 24 on tight domestic supplies, something we've talked about a lot here, and strong competition in Asian markets. Cattle price forecast for 23 and 24 are unchanged from last month. Pork exports are lowered for both 23 and 24 on weaker demand. Broiler exports for 23 and 24 are reduced on the current pace of trade and a lower production forecast. And turkey exports are raised for 23 and 24 as prices are expected to be attractive for buyers. I found a neat tidbit about the WASDE via Betty Resnick, economist for American Farm Bureau. Maybe we're turning the trivia tide on you here, Mr. Pistole. Here she shared this on American Farm Bureau's website. The WASDE report was actually created after the Great Grain Robbery of 1972. I've never heard of this.
I have not.
The Great Grain Robbery of 1972, with the first WASDE report coming out in September 1973, where the Soviet Union was able to buy an immense amount of U.S. wheat at subsidized prices. We sold them that wheat, not knowing that they had a massive crop shortfall at the time. So the WASDE report was created in response to that incident. WASDE puts everyone on equal footing and puts a lot of transparency into the market.
Yeah, the closer you got to like, after you said September of 1973, I immediately went to Russia. I don't know why.
you knew. You knew. Well, it was, I guess Soviet Union at the time, but yeah. So anyway, I thought that was pretty interesting. They came in and got a bargain basement clearance price.
Got out there like they stole something.
Yeah, and we said, no, not again. So we created the WASDE. Pretty fun. I think it comes out in February, and then in August, and August begins a monthly report.
Okay.
There could be an April report in there, but anyway, we should see that monthly through November, I think.
Okay.
October maybe. But
Well, there's no surprise in that livestock stuff. We've been talking about and expecting that. The soybeans and corn, though, I was kind of.
You were a little surprised. We talked about that
yeah.
yesterday and kind of going through some of this, and you were a little bit surprised on that. So corn, it sounds like yields may be down, but maybe more planted than we initially thought.
And I've been hearing good yields out of Arkansas, and then I'd been hearing like weather issues and bad conditions in the Midwest, which were kind of Midwest, but Northwest,
the
high states. So I clearly I need to branch out and find new sources.
Well, who knows? I mean, soybeans for sure. I know we were supposed to have a higher than national average yield this year, and of course we're still too early. I think we said earlier we're only at 5% harvested, but anyway, we'll keep an eye on this and see how it goes. And next week we will have that. I did throw in some harvest progress numbers.
Okay.
I snuck those in there, but we'll have crop quality and harvest progress.
And this Mississippi River, it's really got me worried.
It's a concern. I'm telling you. We were at 0 feet this time last year, and we're at like -9 or something.
Just weird though. Last year, it's worse now than it was last year. And last year there seemed to be a lot more coverage about this. And now it's worse, but I don't know.
Well, I can tell you, I can for sure tell you, I don't think we were seeing the commodity price impacts, like a negative 40-cent basis hit in mid-September last year.
Yeah.
But matter of fact, I think we were still getting rain in September. I think it was not until October that it really started to dry up, but my memory could fail me.
Like one thing I talked about last year is like this kind of gives you an opportunity to what other marketing opportunities are out there for your grain or your soybeans. So I would be highly thinking about that.
Yeah.
Is the livestock market or is the crush market, is the biofuel market? I'm thinking about, I guess, corn and soybeans. Is there more opportunity there now than there used to be, or is there opportunity for you to get in? Because that Mississippi River is a huge link in the supply chain of exports of grain.
Yeah.
But as well as bringing in fertilizer.
Yeah.
So being
well, that's the thing is like, getting the crops out are a concern. But we've got to get that other stuff in.
Yeah.
I mean, the inputs
we
are
wouldn't grow as
in.
much as we did if we didn't have the export market.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So imagine if that just went away.
Yeah.
Yeah. Production would be, decreased substantially, if not by 50 or 60%. Farms would go under.
Yeah.
So relying on something right now like the Mississippi River and having such a big issue that we do, I think gives a lot of opportunity for farmers to look elsewhere. But man, I don't know how many elsewheres there are.
I think I've told you this before, but as we wrap up, I've been listening to a 4-part podcast series on the Mississippi River, sort of the history of it, the geology of it, how it works, how it flows, and it's really, I mean, I know this sounds like I'm Captain Obvious, but it really is a unique body of water, and provides unique opportunity for everybody. I mean, farmers obviously use it, but it's just really to tying that point back to the export market and what an asset it is to us. So when we have something like this happen, it can really touch and impact a lot of different things.
I mean, on top of that, it's not even financially feasible or economically feasible to truck all that grain down to say New Orleans.
Yeah.
You would lose.
You couldn't do it.
No.
Yeah.
So I don't know. This is
right.
or maybe we just use the Mississippi River at a different time of the year. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean it's interesting. Well, I do know they're dredging for sure already.
Sorry, I went on a rant.
Yeah, you did. That's all right. All right, that wraps us up. We had a lot to say this week.
Yeah, I've just been lots of words.
Yeah.
Nice shirt, by the way.
Thank you. Are you talking to me?
Well, we gave you grief last week.
Yes.
So I was
it's
trying
somebody
to give,
else's turn.
Yeah. It's
The shirt looks familiar.
I will admit, we just discovered right before we started recording that I also wore this shirt last week.
Yeah, about that.
I tell you, man, we got so much to keep. We're trying to do our regular jobs. We do this like, whoa, what did I wear last week?
Yeah.
It's a challenge sometimes.
I understand, but I got a lot of grief about my shirt yesterday, and I
Well, you're right. What color? We did some discovery after we recorded last week. What color? What was the consensus, Uncle? You said gray. We said green.
Yeah.
What was the consensus?
It's gray. That's what I'm sticking to.
I think I see his fingers crossed.
He's not going to admit anything.
I know it. I know it. And
So,
that's okay.
These guys went across the entire floor, and it seemed like they got everybody out of their department, and they all came in my office one by one. What color is that shirt? Well, that shirt's this color.
Green was the consensus.
It was a day. I got home, and my wife, I asked her the question. She looked at me like I was stupid.
Your lovely wife even decided.
Yeah.
That's
Why
right.
would you ask that question?
Went with our assessment.
That ruined my day.
Well, you're welcome.
We're glad to have you back, and we're glad to see you wearing that blue shirt today.
Yes. Yes, it's my most common color in my closet.
Yep, we know that well established. All right, what you got for us?
It's time for
Boom.
Yes.
It's so consistent.
Yes. Bonus material.
You don't get that every week.
You don't. I added one more in there. All right. So, which musician is the godmother to Elton John's sons?
Stevie Nicks?
Mm-mm.
No.
No.
Can you give us a hint?
It's a female,
Yeah,
since it's a godmother.
Yeah.
That's the only hint we get. Aretha
It's
Franklin.
a musician.
No.
I was gonna say
would
that.
you believe Lady Gaga?
Lady Gaga.
No.
Interesting.
Sushi fans.
Yes.
Yes.
Nori is which type of sushi ingredient?
Fish eggs.
No.
Nori.
I thought that was the little orange eggs that they put on top.
I don't know.
Seaweed.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Missed that.
I've heard that before, but
Yeah.
didn't know exactly what it was.
Acai berries.
Uh huh. Yes.
What
Tasty.
continent are those grown on?
I'm going to say... Oh,
Go ahead. Please don't say country.
Arkansas for $1, Bob. I'm going to say Asia.
Okay.
I'm going to say South America.
Bingo. South America.
I feel like
I was going to say South America, Asia, or Africa.
Yeah.
Arkansas.
Well, you don't have me. We got 4 left.
Antarctica.
I know it's a popular belief by many that Arkansas is a continent, but it is not. Okay.
Should be.
How many time zones are in Russia?
Oh,
Man.
I'm going to guess and say 3.
So how many do we have?
In the U.S.?
Yeah, so you got Atlantic, Central, Mountains, and Pacific.
Uh-huh.
So we have 4. They are a much larger continent than we are country than
Indeed,
we
they
are.
are.
Geographic.
So I'm going to say 8.
Oh, okay. I said 3,
You said
which
3.
I don't feel
So,
very confident
Would you
about.
believe 11?
Holy cow. That's
11 time zones.
That's wild.
So
12 was going to be my second guess.
yeah, how about that? So
No, that's interesting.
Fun
That's
facts
huge.
for-
You
I
should-
wonder if you could say 5 in the U.S. if you count like the states that don't recognize daylight savings, which is Indiana, Arizona.
Mexico.
yeah,
Huh?
There's no Mexico.
I don't know about New Mexico. I mean, I've been there, but I don't recall.
But all that's supposed to change.
Well, I don't think there's been any legislation yet, but I know there's interest in doing away with it.
well, if you count Arkansas as a continent, that could be its own time zone too.
for
So,
sure.
The great continent of Arkansas.
Yeah. Boy, that's funny. All right. Well, that wraps up the news for this week. Thanks for following along with the Arkansas AgCast. And we're grateful for you taking the time to watch and listen.
Remember, you can catch new episodes on the show every Thursday afternoon. Find video episodes on Facebook and YouTube. Listen to the audio version wherever you listen to podcasts.
Yep. Make sure you subscribe and leave us a review when you have a few extra minutes. The Arkansas AgCast is brought to you by Arkansas Farm Bureau. I'm Jason Brown.
And I'm John McMinn.
And we'll see you next week.